Let's see how fast they walk at Crazybird. Woo! It's nice when you can get a bit of speed up, feel a bit of the wind. 24, it feels quite good actually. 29, should we get 30 before the end? This is the Crazybird Seta. They say it's a city bike, but it's got a bit more oomph. And for a city bike, it isn't your average run-of-the-mill boring city bike. I'm currently sitting at possibly over 20 miles an hour. I'm feeling pretty fast actually. It is a 500 watt motor. You can get this in two forms, 250 watt or 500 watt. They're both exactly the same. Basically, if you get 250 watt, there's a little connector by the controller, and on the 250 watt version that is connected, and on the 500 watt version it is disconnected. It's got a 48 volt battery, 14 amp hours, 672 watt hours. They reckon somewhere up to 50 miles, which is a bit on the low side in terms of their estimation, because quite often you get that many watt hours and they try and convince you that it goes about 100 miles, 120 miles. So 50 seems fair, but we'll see how this one does. But at the moment it feels very punchy, because I've had a lot of 500 watt e-bikes that feel more like 250, and they're just telling you the max output power. Now, because I have looked at that little, here we go, because I have looked at that little connector, I have seen the controller and it puts out about 15 amps plus or minus 1, but I think the average is around just over 10, which is around 500 watts. But the motor has been rated at 250, and there is a sticker under the saddle that says 250 watts continuous. And here we are at Sandy Lane. I haven't got a torque figure, but who cares, because it'll go up and we'll see how it compares with all the others. In its unlocked form, possibly, in America, Sandy Lane, America, Alabama. Off we go. 3, 2, 1, go. So it's not the strongest of starts. I'm in sports mode. It's got a lot of modes, and it's got like in-between modes as well. I think it's got 5 in total. I wouldn't expect to be absolutely bombing it up this hill, but we are coming to a stop. I have a feeling it might be able to creep around, but I don't really want to stress it out too much, and we are coming up to 5 miles an hour. To be fair, this is kind of what you'd expect from your average 500 watt bike. I know it's more about torque than power, but like usually the torque of a 500 watt bike. We're speeding up now, so we've made it up, well done Seta, and across the line. Right, let's pedal, let's put the gears up. Let's let this car go past and then we'll see how fast we can go. It feels quite good actually. 2.5 inch wide tyres, so they're not really grippy fat tyres trying to slow you down. 29, should we get 30 before the end? 30. Right, not bad. I wouldn't be able to keep up that for long. When I'm not on the bike, it actually goes up to 29.5. So you weighed nothing, technically you could go 29.5, but then that's without the bike's weight as well. Gears seem okay. Shimano Tawny seem fairly well adjusted out of the box. 7 gears, they're pretty standard. Front suspension, lockoutable, which I like. It's got the preload that never seems to do anything. It's meant to adjust the amount of travel the suspension has, but I can never tell the difference. Yeah, slight hill, it seems to get me about 18 miles per hour. And then on the flat, it seems to get me about 21 to 22 miles an hour, which is a decent speed. In fact, pretty about a perfect speed for me for an e-bike, as long as you're on the road. Going down a hill, you can go a bit faster. Woo! It's nice when you can get a bit of speed up, feel a bit of the wind, I want to test these brakes out then. The brakes feel quite nice, hydraulic brakes, and because the tyres, they're not fat tyres, they're fairly thick, 2.5 inches on the 26-inch wheels, so there should be a decent amount of grip. Right, no cars, so I'm going 18.3. I'll stop at this lamppost and ooh, very nice, bit of a skid. Right, 18.3 miles an hour. It's probably about 3 meters. Not amazing, I've seen better, but it's more the tyres. Like, the wheels were fully locked, they didn't go round. Let's check out these different settings then. So obviously we got off. Let's see what this feels like. So I'm going down a bit of a hill, so we'll wait till it gets a bit flat. While we're waiting for some flats, let's see what came in the box and how it went together. In the box we got 2-amp charger, stickers and manual, optional throttle, pedals, a pump, front wheel quick release mechanism, and the best tools you can get, the ball end Allen keys, which are fantastic. Thank you very much, Crazybird. The bike came in a big box because it is a big bike. It was well packed, but maybe a little too well packed. Some of the protective plastic was screwed onto the bike, which meant I had to loosen the screws to get it off, lest I be left with little bits of ripped plastic on the mudguards. Putting the bike together is fairly straightforward, but there were a few elements I hadn't experienced before, like when attaching the quick release front wheel. Quick release, same side as the brake, one spring on one side, another spring on the other. Hello. There's no hole. Boop. Also, one of the cranks came disconnected. Something that's not in the manual is the crank is actually disconnected from that, and yeah, there's nothing about that being disconnected in the manual. Unscrew that, just screw that back in. And you might notice that, well, you do when I pointed it, but on the other side, because the crank wasn't connected, when I put it on, I noticed there wasn't one here. What I did notice was this stem was protected with this piece of plastic, and when I took the plastic off, I did not notice it's actually in there. So don't lose that. And the front light was on backwards, possibly to save space, and what I thought was a protective piece of wood wasn't. The bike actually comes with this piece of wood, which I suppose is a seat, but it is a piece of wood. It doesn't have any padding on it, and you can put it on there, totally optional, of course. I suppose maybe they think it's a bit of a seat, but it is still just a slab of wood. So if I sit on it, it's not the most comfortable because it's solid at the sides. It jabs into your thighs. It's only going to be more comfortable if you could get your legs up like that, which you can't because there's no foot pegs, but it's a nice idea. It looks very nice. I would have preferred a soft saddle, maybe even with a backrest on there for, you know, your kid to go on if you wanted to take him to school or something, not just a piece of wood. But it's a very nice piece of wood. Ow! Ah, a piece of wood got me on the knee. Right, how low does it go? So that's fully low. 5'9" I am. That's kind of a cruising position to me. You're meant to have it kind of like on your toes when you're riding. So I reckon if you were 5'6", you'd be all right. Now, how tall could you be? Ah, right, ow. So this is probably ideally adjusted for someone about 5'11" to 6 foot, which means if you were, say, 6'4", or 6'5", this might feel like a bit of a cruisy position, but you'd be able to do it. I'm gonna go 5'6" to 6'5". Right, press this button at the bottom of the controller, you get walk mode, which allows you to walk along with your bike. Let's see how fast they walk at Crazybird. Fairly fast. Actually, that's not too bad. And you just keep going until you turn it off by pulling the brake. Right, the battery moves with the key just by a quick turn, and it literally just pops off just like that. If you don't have the key, there is still power to the bike, which I don't usually like, but because this battery is so quickly removable, it's not really an issue. You can always just take it with you if you're going to go somewhere to the office, or if you're going shopping, you can just pop it out and put it in the trolley or something like that. Right, so I've been riding for a bit with no power, and you know what? It feels good, this does. Feels alright. It just feels like I'm riding a normal bike, which is weird because it is quite heavy. Apparently it's 35 kilograms. Oh, hang on. Maybe it is. Oh, God. You know what? I think it is. That's a heavy bike. That would make it one of the heaviest normal looking bikes I've had, because it does look pretty normal. You can tell it's an e-bike, but it doesn't look like a motorbike or anything, and it's not especially chunky. But yeah, it feels really good, this does. So that's up to eco, and because I'm already going over 16, I can't really tell the difference. I might just slow down. Yeah, that suspension's pretty good. Suspension is nice and doesn't bottom out even when it's adjusted to be fully open. So the throttle in this mode, 10 miles an hour, then it goes to normal, so setting 2, which is taking us up to 14.6, and then there's got another normal setting 3, which is 18. It's pretty flat road, this, about 19 miles an hour. Then it's got 4 sports, which is 21, slowly climbing, 21, and then 5 sports. Just to make that much difference. So it feels like a nice bike, this does. It don't look like a beast, but it does look better than it looks on the website. I'll be honest, when they suggested this, compared to the jumper, Crazybird's last bike, which is really good, I really like that, so check out the review on the Crazybird jumper. It didn't look all that exciting, but I think it does look better than it does on the website, and this kind of maroon red is very nice. A second red bike in a row. Next it'll be a Ferrari. There's very visible welds. I haven't tried to make it really sleek, but it's got a lot of good things going for it. The screen is nice. I've had this screen quite a few times before on different bikes. It's on the Enquiries X3000 Max, a few of the others. They're fairly visible. You do get big reflections on it, but you can still see everything. It's nice that they've got mud guards included. They are plastic mud guards, but they look pretty smart. Just checking, the rear light is a brake light. Thought it was. So yeah, front and rear lights integrated, so no need for any external batteries, which is nice. It's nice to have hydraulic brakes. It's basically, they call it a city bike, but it can go anywhere really. You could take it on mud and gravel and things and you'd still be quite comfortable. The tyres are thick enough to take a lot of the bumpiness on the back. Saddle seems all right, and obviously you got suspension at the front. The question is, for the price, £1,300, which I think it's on offer at the moment. It's been as high as 1,800. Is it worth it? Well, I wouldn't say it's exceptional value, but I'd say it's pretty decent, considering how expensive e-bikes can get. For 1,300, you are getting a bike that will get you up hills, as evidenced by getting up Sandy Lane without having to pedal. And obviously when you do pedal, it'll be a lot easier and a lot faster than it was. It is comfortable with its front suspension that you can lock out if you don't want it, because sometimes people don't want to have front suspension, especially if you're just riding through towns and cities. It's got your 7 gears. It makes it easy to pedal. It really did just feel like riding a normal bike. Hydraulic brakes are quality. You always want, especially, I think any e-bike over 15 miles per hour really should have hydraulic brakes, because you are heavier than a normal bike, so you need as much stopping power as you can get. And then you got the rear rack. You got connections on the front to put some sort of front basket on as well, if you want to do that. So it does make this bike quite a versatile bike as well. So it does a lot, and it is step through if you need it. It's very easy to get on. I did this in the last video, but when you can just kind of hop off a bike, whoop, it does kind of almost give it a sit-down scooter sort of feel. And if you don't mind a bit of visible welding, it's a fairly nice looking bike. If it looks nice without being too, It doesn't scream, steal me. And of course, if you need it to, you can have it totally legal, remove the optional throttle, have that thing in there connected so no one can make any excuses that it goes over the speed limit, because when that thing's connected in there, it will not. You can mess about with the settings, you can make it go 100 miles an hour in the settings, it'll still go 15.5 miles an hour. I have currently done 7.5 miles and I'm still on 5 bars. Now, considering I've taken the bike up Sandy Lane, which probably stressed out the controller and the battery a bit, and I've been going on sport mode for this whole journey, that's pretty good going. So it could actually be that 50 miles is quite realistic. I wouldn't expect to get 50 miles on top setting. I don't actually think I'm going to get 10 miles on each bar. I wouldn't be surprised if I can get 25. That means if you decide that you want to ride on a lower speed setting and a lower power setting, you're going to go a lot further than that. And if you weigh a lot less than me, I'm about 100 kilograms. This, by the way, has got a weight capacity of 120 kilograms. So it takes a bit of weight. Then it's going to do all right. Like the last bike, it's performed pretty much as I expected, maybe a bit more. So good on you. So if you're interested in purchasing this bike, do use the links in the description. They are affiliate links, so if you use them, it will help me out a lot and I'll appreciate it. And if you want a Crazybird with a bit more oomph, do check out the jumper. It's very similar to this, but faster. It's on the channel. I'll leave a link in the description. So if you did enjoy that video or found it helpful, do leave a thumbs up because it helps a lot. If you didn't enjoy that video, thanks for hanging around just to listen, but give me a thumbs down if it makes you feel better. But thanks for getting this far anyway, and until next time, ride safe.